Many people believe they need to spend money on seeds every season to grow food. To grow fresh food almost effortlessly while saving money and reducing waste. Can ordinary kitchen scraps really become productive crops? Which ones actually work, and which surprise even experienced gardeners? By the end of this video, you will see kitchen leftovers differently and learn how to turn everyday food scraps into a continuous source of fresh harvests. Most people throw away something valuable almost every single day without realizing it. That little piece of lettuce at the bottom of the bag, the onion roots you slice off without thinking, the potato that started sprouting in the pantry, straight into the trash they go. But here's the surprising part. Many of those scraps are still very much alive. Given a little water, sunlight, and patience, they can grow into fresh food all over again. Imagine stepping outside and picking herbs for dinner, harvesting crisp greens for your salad, or digging up fresh vegetables, all from plants that cost you absolutely nothing to start. That's not just satisfying. It's one of the easiest ways to save money, reduce food waste, and become a more confident gardener. Today, we're looking at 10 crops you can regrow completely free from kitchen scraps, and some of them produce far more than most people ever expect. And be sure to stay until the end, because the final crop keeps producing year after year and has become one of my favorite plant once, harvest for ages vegetables. Let's begin with one that almost everyone has sitting in their refrigerator right now. Number 1. Green onions, scallions. If you've ever bought green onions, you've already purchased everything you need for your next harvest. Instead of throwing away the white base with the roots attached, place it upright in a small glass, with just enough water to cover the roots. Within only a few days, bright green shoots begin reaching upward. It's surprisingly satisfying to watch. What looked like kitchen waste suddenly becomes a living plant again. This is why green onions are often recommended for children learning to garden. The results happen quickly. Beginners almost always succeed because the roots are already developed. After several inches of new growth appear, you can harvest only the green tops and allow the plant to continue producing. For even better results, move the rooted onions into a pot filled with loose, fertile soil after the first week. They'll grow stronger and continue producing for months. Green onions thrive in USDA zones 3 through 10 and appreciate full sun or light afternoon shade. One important tip: change the water every couple of days if you're growing them indoors before transplanting. Clean water prevents unpleasant odors and keeps the roots healthy. Sometimes the easiest harvest begins with something you almost threw away. Number 2. Romaine lettuce. Most people finish a head of romaine lettuce and toss the base into the compost. That little stump still has life left inside it. Place the bottom of the lettuce into a shallow dish with about half an inch of water. Within days, tiny fresh leaves begin emerging from the center. Watching new life appear where you expected nothing feels almost magical. Now, here's something many beginners don't realize. The second harvest won't form another full supermarket-sized head. Instead, you'll get a flush of fresh, tender leaves perfect for sandwiches, wraps, or small salads. For larger harvests, transplant the rooted base into soil after new leaves appear. This allows stronger root development and healthier growth. Lettuce grows best during cool weather in USDA zones 4 through 9, although gardeners in warmer climates can grow it during spring and fall. Keep the soil consistently moist but never waterlogged. Fresh lettuce doesn't always have to begin with seed. Sometimes dinner simply starts over. Number 3. Celery. Celery may be one of the most rewarding vegetables to regrow because the transformation happens so dramatically. Instead of throwing away the bottom few inches, place the base into a shallow bowl filled with water. Within about a week, tiny yellow-green leaves begin emerging from the center. Soon afterward, new roots develop underneath. Once roots appear, transplant it into rich garden soil. As the weeks pass, fresh stalks slowly rise from the middle, while lush leafy growth spreads outward. Celery prefers cooler temperatures and fertile, consistently moist soil. USDA zones 2 through 10 can all grow celery during the appropriate season. Adding compost before planting makes a tremendous difference because celery is a heavy feeder. Here's another helpful trick. Mulch around the base to keep moisture steady. Celery dislikes drying out. Patience pays off here. Unlike green onions, celery takes longer. But when those crisp new stalks finally appear, they're incredibly rewarding because you created them from something destined for the trash. By now, you're probably noticing something. Many vegetables aren't actually finished when we harvest them. They're simply waiting for another opportunity to grow. But the next few crops become even more productive, especially one that gardeners have been multiplying this way for generations. Number 4. Carrots, for fresh greens and seeds. Carrots surprise a lot of people. No, you can't regrow a brand new full-sized carrot root from the top you cut off. That's one of the biggest gardening myths online. But don't throw those carrot tops away just yet. Place the top inch of the carrot in a shallow dish with a little water, and within several days you'll notice delicate, feathery green leaves beginning to emerge. The bright green foliage looks almost like soft fern fronds gently swaying in the breeze. Many gardeners grow carrot tops simply because they're beautiful. They make attractive windowsill plants, and the greens can be used in homemade pesto, chimichurri, soups, or as a garnish with a slightly earthy, parsley-like flavor. Here's where experienced gardeners take it one step further. If you plant those tops outdoors and allow the plant to mature over 2 growing seasons, it can eventually flower and produce seeds. Those seeds can then be used to grow an entirely new crop of carrots. It's a longer journey, but one that costs absolutely nothing. Carrots perform best in USDA zones 3 through 10, depending on the season. One useful tip: keep the water level low. Only the bottom of the carrot top should touch the water. Too much moisture can encourage rot before new growth begins. Sometimes the reward isn't another carrot, it's the beginning of hundreds of future carrots. Number 5. Garlic. Garlic may be one of the easiest crops to multiply indefinitely. If a clove begins sprouting in your kitchen, don't throw it away. Plant that single clove with the pointed end facing upward about 2 inches deep in loose, well-drained soil. Within weeks, elegant green shoots emerge like slender blades reaching toward the sun. Those shoots alone are worth growing. Known as garlic greens or garlic scapes on young plants, they add a mild garlic flavor to eggs, stir-fries, soups, and salads. But the real reward comes later. Months after planting, that one forgotten clove develops into an entirely new garlic bulb containing several fresh cloves. One becomes many. It's one of nature's simplest forms of multiplication. Garlic thrives in USDA zones 3 through 8. Although warmer climates often plant it later in the year. The secret to large bulbs is sunlight. Choose a location that receives at least 6 hours of direct sun each day. Avoid overly wet soil because garlic dislikes sitting in moisture. One neglected clove today can become years of future harvests. Number 6. Potatoes. Almost everyone has discovered a forgotten potato hiding in the pantry, with strange little sprouts growing from its eyes. Most people see waste. Gardeners see opportunity. Those tiny sprouts are new plants waiting to happen. Cut the potato into chunks, making sure each piece contains at least one healthy eye. Allow the cut surfaces to dry for a day before planting. This simple step greatly reduces the chance of rot. Soon, vigorous green stems push through the soil. As the plant grows taller, continue adding soil around the stems, a process called hilling. This encourages even more potatoes to develop underground. Potatoes thrive in USDA zones 3 through 10 during the appropriate growing season. Loose, fluffy soil gives developing tubers room to expand. Here's an important beginner tip. Never plant soft, moldy, or diseased potatoes. Only healthy sprouting potatoes should be used for regrowing. It's amazing to think that one potato forgotten in a cabinet can eventually fill an entire bucket with fresh, harvest-ready potatoes. Number 7. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes follow a completely different process, and watching it happen is fascinating. Instead of planting pieces directly into soil, suspend the sweet potato halfway in a jar of water using toothpicks. Over the next few weeks, delicate roots begin growing underneath, while leafy vines burst from the top. Those vines are called slips. Once each slip reaches about 6 inches long, gently twist it away from the potato and place it into water until roots develop. Then transplant each rooted slip into the garden. One sweet potato can produce dozens of slips. That means dozens of future plants. The lush vines spread quickly, covering the soil with rich green foliage before producing delicious tubers beneath the surface. Sweet potatoes love warm temperatures and thrive in USDA zones 8 through 11, although gardeners in cooler climates can still grow them during summer. Plant them only after all danger of frost has passed. Here's something many people don't realize. The young leaves are edible too. They're nutritious, tender, and commonly cooked like spinach in many parts of the world. One sweet potato can easily become one of the most productive investments your garden never paid for. At this point, your kitchen scraps are starting to look a lot less like garbage and a lot more like free planting material. That's one of the wonderful things about gardening. Once you learn where new life begins, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. The last few crops on our list are some of the easiest of all. They're forgiving, productive, and perfect for beginners who want quick success without spending another dollar. Let's finish with some of the best. Number 8. Ginger. Fresh ginger often starts sprouting all by itself if it sits in the pantry for a little too long. Instead of throwing it away, let it grow. Choose a firm piece with one or more visible buds, sometimes called eyes, and plant it just beneath the soil with the buds facing upward. For the first few weeks, it may seem like nothing is happening. Then beautiful, tropical-looking shoots begin pushing through the soil. Long, graceful leaves unfurl upward while thick underground rhizomes slowly expand beneath the surface. Ginger grows best in USDA zones 8 through 12, but it also thrives in containers that can be moved indoors during colder months. It enjoys warm temperatures, rich soil, filtered sunlight, and consistent moisture without becoming soggy. Here's one tip experienced gardeners swear by. Harvest only part of the rhizome and leave the rest in the soil. The plant continues growing, giving you fresh ginger year after year. Sometimes patience produces the most rewarding harvests. Number 9. Basil. Fresh basil is one of the easiest herbs to clone. You don't need seeds. You don't even need roots. Simply cut a healthy stem about 4 to 6 inches long, remove the lower leaves, and place it in a glass of clean water. Within 1 to 2 weeks, tiny white roots begin appearing along the stem. Once the roots reach a couple of inches long, plant it into rich, well-drained soil. Before long, the plant becomes a lush mound of fragrant green leaves that fills the air with its unmistakable sweet aroma every time you brush against it. Basil thrives in USDA zones 10 and 11 outdoors, but grows beautifully in pots almost anywhere. Give it 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day and pinch off flower buds as they appear. Here's the secret. The more often you harvest basil, the bushier it becomes. It's one of the rare plants that rewards you for using it. Number 10. Pineapple. This final crop surprises almost everyone. That leafy crown sitting on top of a pineapple isn't just decoration. It's an entirely new plant waiting to grow. Twist off the leafy top, remove the lower leaves, and allow the base to dry for a day or two before placing it into water or directly into well-drained soil. Over time, fresh roots begin forming. Then new leaves slowly emerge from the center. Even before it produces fruit, the plant makes an attractive tropical addition to patios, balconies, or sunny windows. Pineapples thrive in USDA zones 10 through 12, but also grow well in containers indoors, where winters are cold. Now, here's the part that teaches patience. Growing a new pineapple can take 2 or even 3 years, but when that single golden fruit finally appears, it becomes one of the most satisfying harvests any gardener can experience. Sometimes the longest wait produces the sweetest reward. Who would have guessed that today's dinner could become tomorrow's garden? The celery base headed for the compost. The potato forgotten in the pantry. The garlic clove is beginning to sprout. The ginger tucked into the back of the cupboard. The pineapple crown destined for the trash. Each one still holds the remarkable ability to grow again. And that's one of the greatest lessons gardening teaches us. Nature wastes very little. When we slow down and pay attention, we discover that many things we once considered useless still have incredible value. By regrowing crops from kitchen scraps, you're doing far more than saving money. You're reducing food waste, you're learning valuable gardening skills, you're becoming more self-sufficient, and perhaps most rewarding of all, you're experiencing the quiet satisfaction of growing fresh food with your own hands. Once you start, it's surprisingly difficult to stop. You'll find yourself looking at every vegetable a little differently, wondering, can I grow this again? Very often, the answer is yes. Which of these 10 crops are you excited to regrow first? Have you already had success with green onions, celery, potatoes, basil, or another kitchen scrap? Share your experience in the comments. Your tip might inspire another gardener to give it a try. If you enjoyed this video and love practical gardening ideas that save money, reduce waste, and help you grow more food at home, be sure to subscribe. We have many more simple gardening tricks, surprising plant discoveries, and easy growing guides coming your way. Until next time, happy gardening, and remember, the next time you're about to throw away a kitchen scrap, you might actually be throwing away your next harvest.